Hey, what's up everybody? This is Toussaint Morrison. You're watching the Social Science Club. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you find this video of value or you find it informational, please hit like or hit the subscribe button or both. Okay, let's get into it. So I saw a video recently that explained what colonialism was to that person that was giving the definition on decolonialism. So what I want to talk about in this video, what we're going to talk about in this video is what is colonialism, what is decolonization, and then what is erasure and how can we deal with it? So there's a few moving parts here. So first off, we'll start with colonialism. The definition of colonialism is the policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers and exploiting it economically. So when we look at that, we can see the United States is a product of colonialism. We can say Haiti is a product of colonialism. Australia is a product of colonialism. There are many countries that are a product of colonialism. And colonialism, the measures are taken very violently. There might be some civilizations that were taken over and somebody came in and said, hey, we're gonna, exploit you economically. There might be a case where that happened. I highly doubt it. However, it's taken over by means of violence, genocide, and then said settlers occupy that space, and they have now effectively colonized it. In the video that I watched, a gentleman said that decolonization to him was not going to pre-colonial days, but existing in a community where everybody understands what effect colonialism has had on said community, why it is the way it is. Why is this park here? Why is this park called Bottineau? Why is that building called that? Why is the city called Cleveland? Why is the state called Minnesota? Getting down to the constructs of your city, your community, your civilization, and what does colonialism have to do with that? Because once you start to recognize the violence and a lot of the historical, I'm trying to put it in a word that isn't as sharp as violence, but I can't really, because colonialism isn't really it's just a violent thing. But when you look at how it's affected your city, the idea is then you can better understand your community, redlining, racial covenants. How has the patriarchy affected your community? How have certain riots and movements affected your community as well? And people that said, no, we're not going to be moved here. We're not going to switch it up. And so once you understand that, then you can understand who you are in that space. Now, a lot of people will say, I experienced this advantage of power, rank, or privilege in today's society, but I'm not responsible for it. I had no part in colonialism. I wasn't running any of the slave ships or making those choices. But the thing is that you benefit from it. And so nothing is in a vacuum. Everything is legacied to now. Your life is literally an amalgam of choices that you've made or choices that have been made for you from the beginning of your life. And once you look at that linear timeline, oh, this is why this is the way it is. Oh, that's why that's the way it is. When you look at the statues, the Guardian statues in Cleveland, why are they the way they are? When you look at even certain professional athletic teams, why are they called that? You begin to get a better understanding of the history that came before you so you can understand where you're standing now, and then have a better understanding of who you are standing where you are standing now. Okay, anyways, decolonization is that information and having that education for yourself so you can better understand yourself. What happens as a product of not educating folks on colonialism or decolonization is erasure. I took AP history at my high school, and immediately where we started in US history, AP US history, advanced placement US history, was we started slavery. Here we are. So the United States, there were white slave owners and there were black slaves. Now, when you start from there, there's an erasure that happens that's saying these people, or the said people, just started out as slaves. There was no civilization or culture or humanity to them from the start. And when we don't get into colonialism and who it benefits now, who took the violent acts then, you then erase the people that were exploited, killed, enslaved, and essentially the victims of colonialism. And so you have to look at erasure as a discrete price that you're going to pay if you don't discuss colonialism or the real history of how things got to today. Erasure, I would say the erasure benefits those that have power, rank, and privilege that stem from colonialism. So if a certain demographic has committed colonialism or colonized the space, they're going to benefit from that history not being told. To the victor go the spoils. So, or to the colonizer go the spoils, or to the genociders go the spoils. But to the people committing genocide go the spoils. All that being said is, there's still an act. Think about it. There's still an act of colonialism going on right now in the erasure of people that were colonized or used to create said civilization or colony, I should say. And in the US, it's a unique situation in that the space was colonized. It was occupied by indigenous people, but it was in the colonization and in creating this space and building it up, it was used with black slave labor and other folks of color as well. Let's not forget that. But it's built on free labor, enslavement, and genocide. And so when we look at that, now we can understand, okay, who is here? And why am I here? And what does that mean in this space? Okay, now I can better operate, speak, and communicate with people in this space. And I don't want to get into the realm of like leaning blame on individuals right now, but the idea is, what does that mean for right now? What is the historical context that's happening so I can better operate in my community? And here's the button on this, so I can better serve my community. And when you understand that, you are of so much value to your community, because then you can speak to the history of the space and give respect in the space at the same time. So think more on that. I hope that this video was of some value to you. Thank you so much for listening and us discussing colonialism, decolonization, and erasure, and the function of erasure. I could go on about erasure for so long, because it has such a pernicious function that it can be happening while people think they're aware of it, but they're not, and it's still active and still erasing said people's history and humanity in a situation. So anyways, I hope you found this video of benefit. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one.